Secretary General Neil Prapunt, distinguished delegates, it is my honor to open the 8th meeting of the ASEAN-OECD Good Regulatory Practices Network on behalf of the OECD. I would like to begin by expressing my gratitude to Secretary General Neil Prapunt and his dedicated team from the Thai office of the Council of State for hosting this meeting in person. It is our first meeting since the COVID-19 pandemic. I would also like to thank our co-chairs, Senior Director Madame Siti from Malaysia and Senior Director Mark Steele from New Zealand for their leadership of the network over the past 9 years. Your steer has been an integral part to the success of this group. Let me also recognize the governments of Vietnam and Brunei Darussalam for their fantastic collaboration hosting the GRPN during the pandemic years. Since 2014, the Good Regulatory Practices Network serves as a key platform to consolidate the OECD's engagement with ASEAN on regulatory reform. And we aim to build on our strong partnership to advance our efforts in regulatory policy and governance reforms, both within the ASEAN region and between the ASEAN and the OECD. The discussion today on the role of regulatory policy in promoting sustainable development could not come at a better time, at a moment when governments tackle the overarching social and environmental challenges of the 21st century. Let me briefly touch upon some of the key themes you will be discussing today. So first, better regulation for environmental sustainability. The world will not achieve its environmental sustainability goals without urgent action to address the alarming rate of biodiversity loss, the increasing impacts of climate change, and the overconsumption of natural resources. The timing of this year's meeting coincides with the COP28 just as we speak. The commitment of ASEAN member states to move towards energy and industry transition to achieve net zero future and low carbon societies is really an important step forward. There is now a need clearly set out the path to deliver on countries' commitments on climate change, all of which requires a wide range of policy tools that governments have at their disposal. Regulation is one of the key tools that governments have at hand to achieve environmental goals, along with financial instruments and green budgeting, procurement, and infrastructure. When well designed and implemented, government regulation can address climate change and other environmental threats while balancing competing economic, innovation, and social objectives. This is a priority area for the OECD Regulatory Policy Committee, shaping better regulation for the green transition. A second priority is how to promote digital and data-driven regulatory delivery to support a more sustainable future. Digital and data tools have the power to support governments to be more adaptive and responsive to incoming environmental challenges. It also supports governments to adopt new techniques such as monitoring compliance in real time, improving ways of supporting compliance among regulated entities through tailor-made advice and assistance, as well as allocating resources more efficiently across the administration. Digitalization is a clear driver of administrative reforms in the ASEAN region. Our report on supporting regulatory reforms in Southeast Asia shows that there is a clear movement towards the use of digital tools to improve regulatory policy design and deliver in the region. All ASEAN member states have a national policy or strategy for promoting digitalization with a broad focus including public administration reforms. 8 of 10 member states include a focus on improving the business climate, while 7 involve digitalization for improving procedures around designing or delivering regulations. Going forward, more advanced forms of innovations to regulatory systems could be adopted, such as regulatory sandboxes to support the digital transformation and artificial intelligence in supporting administrative processes. The third priority is putting people back in the center of regulatory policy. This is a critical part of policy-making toolkits of governments and assessing how the impacts of regulations are affecting different parts of society. Regulators themselves play a key role in developing trust between and with actors in a sector, navigating perspectives from government, industry, and consumers. A lack of trust in regulators could undermine confidence in their work, the stability they safeguard, and investment in the sectors that they oversee. Strengthening how governments engage with all citizens will improve not only the design of regulations, but also will foster trust. A robust accountability framework is therefore increasingly relevant in the context of changing markets, and opportunities to collect stakeholder input are critical in the context of changes in markets and the emergence of new market actors. In closing, in all of the key priorities mentioned, we look forward to hearing your examples of recent experiences of good regulatory practices. We aim to foster an environment of collaboration, learning, and inspiration that will contribute to elevate our regulatory practices together and our commitments to build a more sustainable, inclusive, and prosperous world. Thank you very much.